Hello and welcome to my channel Debut Snakes and More. Today we're going to be reading from the Snake Community Reddit, and the question or comment is Snake Discovery turned Snake Mill. I used to love Snake Discovery, but I'm at the point where I just can't watch anymore. It feels like I'm watching a puppy mill, only with snakes. It is extra concerning with the last clutch they showed, where four of the hognose babies had severe kinks. They are busy questioning their incubator, not the fact that they care more about the overproducing. Another thing that drives me nuts is Emily antagonizing freshly hatched babies, trying to get them to bite her. Anyone else feel this way? Added, while I didn't expect to get so many responses, and have been reading them all. It's great seeing everyone else's views, whether in arrogance or not. I will add one more thing. It's the fan mail. I've been watching since Ed was a mystery. It's the money thing that bothers me. If you don't want, you don't have to send us money, but it will go to the animals. Then don't show the money. It's like indirect begging. And here are the responses. Dunno. Don't know if I'd go as far as you. But I definitely stopped watching, mostly because it was all eggs hatching and Morse. I don't really care for the whole industry around Morse. It mostly just serves to over-commodify animals even more than we already do. I think Snake Discovery appears to keep good records of their breeding and bloodlines and have a huge audience that will buy their snakes to have a Snake Discovery snake, so the unwanted ones from morph chasing find homes easily. But steer for everyone's Snake Discovery. Just think about all the ones that aren't recording everything they do to be scrutinized. In addition to commodification, I'd also say there's something in the way of gambling involved with breeders these days. Like if we look at loot boxes online and even things like Labubus, it's basically the same high with breeding. I haven't seen Snake Discovery do it, but I've seen other content creator breeders prematurely crack open eggs to see if they got a pull worth big money on Morph Market. It's so fucking gross. Unfortunately, most snake breeders become mills. They don't intend on it, but the downward spiral traps many people. The antagonizing of hatching does irks me as well. It's not necessary and they don't need to be stressed out. This is a huge reason why I left exotics. Even the formerly responsible breeders were compromising on standards to stay in competition with chain stores and importers. The safest bet is to go with someone who specializes in breeding a small number of species. Unfortunately, most snake breeders become mills. They don't intend on it, but the downward spiral traps many people. I think almost all pet sheds animal breeders is a capitalist society have to slowly evolve into a mill operation to be self-sustainable and or profitable. You basically get two kinds of breeders, hobby breeders and mill breeders. The hobby breeders can't/don't advertise, so they don't have a great market to sell their animals, and the hobby breeders who do start to invest time and money into advertising and gaining a customer base will eventually become unethical mill breeders because of the financial logistics/hurdles of an animal breeding business. You either lose money or barely break even on cost as a hobby breeder. To be able to make a profit from selling animals, you damn near have to become a mill. I don't think a lot of mill breeders get into the business to be mill breeders. They start out as hobby breeders and invest more and more money and time into their business until they can't justify closing down their business. They have so much money and time invested that they can justify doing a little more unethical things to protect their financial and time investments. That leads to doing a lot more unethical things and a little more and a little more until they are a full-fledged shitty mill breeder. At that point, they are so jaded about the animals and breeding business that they don't even see themselves as the mill breeders they are. There's a subset of boutique breeders who are like specialized hobbyists that focus on quality and advancing the hobby. We tend to breed only one species and maybe 2 to 3 morph types. It's always about the animals, never about money or fame. My general take is that you're making money on snake breeding, you're doing something wrong. There's a subset of boutique breeders who are like specialized hobbyists that focus on quality and advancing the hobby. We tend to breed only one species and maybe 2 to 3 morph types. It's always about the animals, never about the money or fame. For sure, but the average reptile customer doesn't know about you and how to buy ethically bred reptiles from boutique breeders. And even then, the boutique breeder might not be ethically breeding. The uninformed or ignorant customers are part of the problem that helps create mill breeders. It's just hard to ethically breed any animals in a capitalist society because the costs are so high. It's fairly easy for a boutique breeder to evolve into more of a mill breeder because of capitalism. It happens with puppy breeders too. Factory animal farms just 100% know they are doing unethical breeding, but they make a lot of money. Very true, and I've seen it happen. I guess the trick is to continue to encourage banquet breeders to reassess our motivation and cause current occasionally. We should never be putting profit before welfare. At best, my snakes help to offset costs, but they haven't once in over a decade of breeding ever done more than pay for their own food, and that's only in good years. We do have platforms like Morph Market that make it easier for buyers to find us, but you're totally right that it's buyers who drive the market, and they tend to gravitate towards flash and volume rather than quality. I'm local to them and think the zoo is put together well with good enclosures and care aside from Rex's enclosure, which is way too small. But I'm also tired of the egg and hatching videos. They emphasize the wrong issue sets values in reptile keeping and glorify keeping/breeding large numbers of snakes. It's not just that they're producing a lot of baby snakes. A big part of it for me is that they're keeping tons of adult snakes in boring racks just so they can maybe breed them in the future. I'm disappointed that they got all those indigos a while back and they're just living in racks instead of being rehomed to people who would keep them in larger, more dramatic enclosures. They were also selling black milk snakes for $450 when other local breeders were selling them for $350, which is more in line with the market rate. It does feel like they moved to a massive facility and took there's so much space to mean room for 10 times more snakes rather than 10 times more room for snakes. Twice. Yeah, and the second massive facility really feels like maybe we have enough space to actually ethically house the snakes. We have Turning Point that they just drove right on past. They seem to understand good enclosure design, but still keep most of their breeders in tubs without UV or lighting. They could easily do it given the huge space they moved into, but they don't. I really don't get why they made Rex's enclosure so small. Rex is their main mascot, a rescue left deformed from being kept in a tiny box, yet she doesn't even get a big one in the zoo where she's the main attraction. Not like they had mini enclosure size restriction either. They built them all themselves. And it's so barren as well. There's like one log she can lay behind and no real swimming space. Just enough to lounge. Not sure if it's camera angers, but the half a basement room she lived in seemed bigger than her current enclosure in the zoo. Same with the pool. I'm not a breeder, doubt I ever will be a snake breeder, but I feel like at least the best breeders deserve a decent enclosure as opposed to racks. I understand why babies would be in racks. They're ever-changing inventory of a business. But the breeders are usually there to stay. They are the ones doing the hard work for them to make money, give them a bit more than a drawer. Or at the very least, let the retired snakes live out their senior years in proper enclosures. Whether it is with them or other people, it's probably unrealistic though. I'm guessing the profit margins aren't too bad given their several income streams and being a name brand, so it could maybe be possible one day. I just wish breeding reptiles at a large scale wouldn't mean such a decrease in quality of life. They're just as much the same animal with the same needs as a normal pet. More than that, the babies being kept in racks also make them worse pets. It makes it harder for them to live in proper tanks in the future. It has been proven to cause mental harm and worsen development, and it has proven to cause actual trauma. Overall, they're going to end up as much worse pets than they would have been otherwise. Edit, as has been pointed out to me, I should probably be clear that I'm speaking more generally with this. The study I was basing this off of tested with much worse rack setups, closer to a typical breeder setup, so it probably wouldn't be as bad for them. That being said, my points still stand, and they can still cause issues, even if those issues wouldn't be as significant for Snake Discovery's racks than they would be for most breeders. I don't mean this in an antagonistic way, but could you provide reference to proof of this? Because I'm not familiar with snakes being shown to develop mental harm from rack setups as babies. This wasn't a study and nothing was proven with so small a sample size. It can't be called a study. We just moved to the cities in January and I haven't made it up to see them yet. I'm a big reptile girl, but I'm also in vet med and am a little husbandry / care crazy. This makes me wonder if I should even bother going up, if I'm just going to be upset about stuff. I think the zoo is worth a visit, so you can make up your own mind. The breeding facility is off-site, so you don't see any of that. Their zoo enclosures are made to minimal size recommended. It pissed me off when they were making them. Based on the comments here, I take it Rex still doesn't have her outdoor living enclosure. The indoor one was meant to just be her display cage. for showing her off with her having a bigger outdoor one to live in. No, you won't. Now, if it was the zoo in the Ontario area that closed recently, you'd be horrified. I definitely wouldn't. If you're educated enough to spot the issues, they quickly become nauseating. The big name breeders always have higher prices. You pay for the brand, just like with anything else. I disagree with the past about glorifying and keeping large numbers of snakes just because they aren't just keepers anymore. They aren't just breeders. If they were, they would have 4 times the number of snakes. And they tell us they have employees that do a lot plus most of the husbandry work. And as far as the black milk babies, we live in a capitalistic society, as you know, and snake discovery snakes are in much higher demand than everyone else in the local market. Why wouldn't they get more money than regular local breeders? That's normal. Honestly, as a local to them, previously wasn't a few years ago, and having adopted from Adoption Island after my leopard gecko passed. I've watched their videos for years at this point. In the beginning, they were really great and I learned a lot about snake genetics, and I absolutely love seeing little baby noodles hatching, but I don't think Emily needs to antagonize them. It's unnecessary stress for the babies, and it's probably a big reason they don't eat for the first meal, etc. I can't fault them too much, but I'm faulting them 50%. They aren't like some breeders that just rip open eggs and pull out babies on the due date no matter what. I'm sure we've all seen that one guy on TikTok or whatever that pulls out unborn babies. A lot of the morphs they breed, sure they're common morphs, Conda hogs and albino, etc. But it's all they focus on anymore. I want more educational videos. I want to learn about a snake's habitat, or the unique characteristics, etc. I do like to see the babies, but it's constantly we have eggs or babies. It's annoying after a while. I really hate the rack system too. Sure, it keeps things organized, but give the babies a nice home, please. Both actual babies and adults. Some of the morphs they keep are absolutely beautiful, like the banana bars and the sable hogs. They deserve a nice big enclosure with a lot of decor and stuff. They deserve to have that free space and not feel cramped. I know they have heat, but I wouldn't want to live in a dog tub for my life. The zoo isn't half bad. A lot of the animals are happy in their enclosures. I don't see a lot of angry reptiles or visibly tense or stressed signs when on video. A lot of them are handleable enough to be held by kids, and an angry, stressed out animal wouldn't have anything to do with that. I don't know if I agree with Rex having the size of enclosure she does. On one hand, I can understand why they'd keep her in something smaller. She's malformed and has a lot of issues that they've done really well taking care of, but aren't ever going to be completely gone, and it may make Rex feel safer to have a smaller environment. But on the other hand, she is an alligator and they need a lot of space regardless, just to be able to swim and float, find food, and roam around generally. And Rex doesn't really have a lot of that. I can say they do a good job of keeping heat/UV for Rex, but not much else. I do think their rescue program is decent though. They do take every animal to the vet and do their best to help each baby that comes their way. I did choose to adopt a yellow-bellied ball python from them, and I have chosen to purchase isopods from them, mostly because I know my baby now has been taken to the vet and everything, and I know the isopods won't be dead as soon as I get them home. I do appreciate them getting snakes and other various critters on easily accessible food. My BP is on frozen thawed. My ball python is on frozen thawed from them right now, and she eats consistently. I know Emily does a lot of programs still too, but I've never been to one, so I can't comment on that quality. Honestly though, the video quality has gone way down, and I'm really disappointed. It happens to everyone, I guess, but it really upsets me that they're just a corporate shell now. I just wish they'd catch it before everything goes up in flames, but probably not happening. Tid, I agree with OP and the rest of the comments. I'm just giving my opinions and will elaborate if needed. Bring back the informative care videos shot at their house. They used to be so good, which is what is so frustrating. Longtime watchers know that they are capable of so much better. Antagonizing the hatchlings is why I stopped watching them. A baby snake's first experience when coming out of the egg should not be, what the fuck kind of predator is this? I just hatched into the craw of Kittalooey, prodding it right away to see the cute fake death or cobra pose does not start that animal on the path to being social and trusting of humans. Yes, they can be socialized probably later, but what is the benefit of starting them off from a place of unnecessary terror? Baby snakes are small and have every understandable right to be fearful. Why is she reinforcing this fear by making its very first out of the egg interaction with the word so threatening? Other than getting views and pandering to a fan base that wants to see this done to every clutch. Hey, maybe the lavender plays dead different than the Conda. They can't just rewatch the video of the other 100 babies she's terrorized. Thank you for watching this video and peace out to the next one. I'm tired of reading this.